Now we also have for loops. So if we want to run through the numbers 1 to 5, we can have a for loop. And a for loop looks like this. So for int I equals 0, I less than or equal to 5, I plus plus. I'll explain the syntax of this in a second. And let's just print out the value of I there. So for a for loop, it's kind of like a while loop, but it's a more compact version. And the way it works basically is you have an initializer here. So this is initializing the counter variable, the looper if you like, or the value that's keeping count, or the index, whatever you want to call it. It's initializing that to the first value. That's the initialization section. Then there's a semicolon. Then there's the evaluation section. So this is saying that the loop's going to continue to operate as long as this is true. I is less than or equal to 5. And of course, I will take on various different values from 0, going all the way up, increasing like we did before. And that's controlled by this final section here, again after a semicolon, which is saying how we're going to increase this counter, this loop variable, this whatever you want to call it, how we're going to increase it as we go through the loop. So here it's saying I starts off as 0, as long as I is less than or equal to 5, keep doing this, and we're going to increase I by 1 each time. So again, if we debug this with Control-Shift-D, we can see here I initially starts up as 0. If I do F8, I is now 1. If I do F8, I is now 2, and so on. And you'll be able to see as well in the console that we can still see these lines are printed each time. So I'll just finish playing that off for the remainder. So you can see here it goes from 0 to 5. It's different than the last one, the while one, because we started the while one from 1, so we can make it the same by doing that. So again, it goes from 1 to 5. Now the nice thing about this is it's more compact. Here's one thing, all of the components of what controls the loop is enclosed in these parentheses here, and also the variable which you're using to keep track of the loop, a so-called sentinel variable, which is this loop variable or counter or index, whatever you want to call it. What's interesting about this is that's scoped purely to this block, which basically means that it's only available inside this block, and then once this block has completed, so the whole for loop is completed, then the I variable is no longer in scope and it's thrown away, which is kind of nice because with the while loop you kind of had to put the variable definition outside before the while loop, and it's nice that everything's kind of compact here.